Hey, Coach, super excited you found us on YouTube. Make sure that you watch and leave some comments below if you have any questions on anything in the video. That's the first thing. Second thing is make sure you subscribe. If you want updates, you're obviously here because you're a basketball coach, so subscribe down below. We would really appreciate that. And the third thing is if you're looking for resources, you're looking to become a better basketball coach, click up above or down below, teachhoops.com. It is a vast resource to help you become a better basketball coach. I'm here to help. I just got done answering about 25 emails, so go check it out. I think it will be a great resource for you, 14-day free trial. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.
All right, Coach. Episode 25. Oh, I remember 25 was a good age. I love 25.
Yeah. That's a long time ago even for me.
That's like – yeah, that's a long time ago for me.
I know, but even 8 years. 8 years is a long time. It feels like a long time ago.
That was like 27 for me.
Now we're showing the age. Yeah, okay. You make fun of myself. I got a lot of life to live. So
you're a puppy. So what is the High School Hoops episode 25? What's this one about?
You know, this one was a topic that was in the quest to be talked about. Even when we started the show, I know we definitely be talking about it, and the topic kind of went into it a little bit last week already about talking about playoffs. But we're going to spend a little bit more time today on the show about talking about what you can do as a coach to prepare your team for playoff time.
Right. Wow, this is a long one. So there's a couple things I think personally from someone that's played a lot of playoff games in his day and coached a lot of playoff games. So I'm not going to give all my secrets away.
You shouldn't.
First of all.
You still got some more games to win.
Yeah, if you have a few games. When I retire, we'll have a Coach Collins retirement podcast, and then I'll give you. But there are a couple things that we have done in our program that have helped us. First of all, I do agree, and I think we were talking about last week about shortening practices.
Yep.
About making things more precise, about eliminating things and adding things, but eliminating some things or subtracting them, maybe not necessarily eliminating them. I think all that's really important. I think what we were talking about a little bit last week is also important about kind of looking forward to who you're going to play, how you can attack them. But I think there's got to be kind of this shift. And one of the huge things that we've done, we have lots of traditions in our program, from anywhere from how we handle pregame to how we check into the game to where we sit. But we have definitely traditions that have been handed down for 20 plus years about how we do playoffs. If I'm moving kids up, how do we handle that? How do we handle the locker room? How do we handle all of those things? I think that's really important. So I think those traditions are a really important aspect of preparing. And part of it is hopefully you've been doing it all year. Like, if you're going to add something new for opponent B, hopefully you've taught the kids how to do that throughout the season. That quick turnaround, that, okay, we have one practice or we have one shoot around and we got to play a game tomorrow. Kind of thing that if you haven't done it all season, you can't expect them to all of a sudden be able to pick it up come playoff time. So hopefully that has been built on itself. What do you do, Coach?
In my notes here, we've already talked about adding new arsenal, so we don't need to talk about that in previous episodes. We talked about the importance of practicing situations.
Yep.
We've been talking about in previous episodes. Being able to grind and practice and be able to execute in the half court defensively and offensively at the end of the season, which is really about worrying about situations. But the other two things I'd like to talk about, three things. One thing is the importance of saving legs. I think is huge when preparing for playoffs. What you can do to get your kids off their feet, whether it's shortened practices, to allow them to really have their physical strength going into playoff time is huge.
Yeah.
The second thing is, I didn't write this down, but I think about it, is like, what can you do to get a lot of shots up? I think, if you I think often in practice when you're preparing for opponents, getting lots of shot reputation, getting into playoff time is huge, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and I think those are related. I think the getting shots up and saving the legs are important.
Yep.
And it's also you got to get them into the mind. You got to get them into that, like, here we go. What are we gonna do? What kind of shots are we gonna get? So it goes back to that preparation part too. It's like, we're gonna play this team that's gonna shoot 2-3 zones in the playoffs. We got to start getting those shots up. So I think it's kind of doing some of that stuff as far as preparation too.
And I also think it's not like you're not going to know who you might be playing. You already know that.
Right.
Your regional, your sectional, your district, all that stuff is laid out a long time ago. Especially in this day and age of huddle and crossover, depending on how you share film, getting film is very accessible.
Right.
And as Maudier says, you should start delegating right now and having multiple films on one team, especially if you're a team that's having a really good season. You don't want to take that for granted. If you're like right now, you're in a quest to win a conference title, you're way above 500, you should start thinking about what can I do to make a big run in the playoffs.
Right.
And that's where, it's really about what am I going to do to outcoach somebody. Both teams are going to be really good.
And it's really
it's going to be the team.
It's really hard to do that. That pinnacle is, as you go farther, it becomes harder. Trust me, it's hard to outcoach. Yeah.
But it's going to be the difference. I mean, it could be the difference maker, but it's going to also come down to how well you make shots and how much energy you got at the end of the season.
Right.
I think those two things are going to be huge.
Yeah.
Because both teams are really good, and it's going to come down to we talk about early games. Early in the season are about the teams that make the least amount of mistakes. At this point in the year, both teams are probably not going to make a lot of mistakes. They're well executed. It's going to come down to what team is healthy, what team can fight through the 32 minutes or as long as amount of basketball your state has, and what team is able to make baskets. It really does. I really think it comes down to that.
Yeah. And you and I were kidding about my team being in a shooting slump. It's like, you're right. When the ball goes in, you look a lot better.
You look like a great coach. Yeah, I drew that up perfectly. We shot 52% from three. Yep, I'm a great coach today. There's no recipe for that, man.
There is no recipe.
The ball goes in, the ball goes out. And you got to move forward.
Yeah, you can get a Dr. Dish though. You could do that. Helps.
Yeah, that's a good plug for them. I like that.
Plug. All right, I'll talk to you next week, Coach.
All right, thanks, Coach. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Hey, Coach, hope you like that video. If you're looking for more videos just like that, check out teachhoops.com up above or down below in the show notes. I do not think you'll be disappointed. One-on-one calls, office hours, you name it, it's there for you. Learn from me. Let me help you become a better coach.